Morning, Pat.
Hi, Scott.
Hang on just a minute. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry about last night. I was
No problem.
pretty shot by 10:30.
Yeah, understood. I
Did you do, did
no,
you?
I didn't go ahead and run it.
Okay.
But it that was the fix. It just had to
So
go
you just cycled power on the camera?
on the computer and camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, because but it's always a little bit spooky when you do that because those power distribution units are don't always want to communicate with you, so you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, right.
You
You want to do it again? You want to try it tonight?
No, I can't tonight. I'm tied up, but you can go ahead and try it. Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, maybe I can because.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, guys, we're just talking about
Yeah,
running BARO with automation.
yeah.
And we were going to run it last night, and Sophia's familiar with this. The camera decided not to talk to the software. You remember the ZWO for some
Oh,
reason?
yeah.
Yes, yes. But we we managed to, well, it was a typical thing. We had to recycle the power to the computer in order for it to work. Not the rebooting the computer by itself doesn't do it. You have to recycle the power to the computer. Nate came up with that solution, and it's a strange one. I don't know. Tom's not going to nodding there. You sound like you look like you might understand it. What
Not
happened?
particularly, it's a Windows issue, so.
It's something gets set in the communication chip for the computer that if you don't cycle the power on it, which it doesn't happen when you reboot, it doesn't fix the problem. So, yeah.
Pat, is Paul's target list on BARO, or can we get it on BARO? Put it somewhere on BARO?
Yeah, I'm going to
So I
put it
can
on
run it
BARO.
tonight?
I'll try to get it on BARO today, because today is what I'm getting. BARO does not have Office on it, so you
Oh,
get
yeah.
these weird looking
No,
CSV files that are not like
right.
flat
You
files.
can't show it as a spreadsheet.
You can't show as a spreadsheet, but I'm getting it put on. I have it on today, and then
Okay,
and
that'd be
I'll
good.
load it up. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, then I'll try to run it tonight.
yeah. So
Did
good to see.
you disable the USB power mode for in Windows?
I'm sorry. Is there a way to do that?
Yeah, there's one way that that Windows just shuts down the USB port because it's not being used, or it thinks it's not being used. That might be an issue.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
know
you can set
it
that up.
happens.
Well, that would be nice not to have to cycle the power.
Right.
You can set that up so it doesn't shut them down, Pat, in Windows. Just go to the go to your communications manager on the thing, and you can tell it not to turn off USBs that are idle.
I just sent you a link in the chat. So,
Oh, okay. Hey, that's good. Good to know, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
I hope it's clear for you tonight, Scott, because it's sure been cloudy a lot lately.
Yeah, well, can't do much about the weather.
Yeah,
We'll see.
That was the other thing, Scott. I looked and it wasn't getting that much good last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of tropical moisture coming up from Mexico, I think, right now. We may have trouble, but we'll try, see what we can do.
Are you getting?
Yeah, we got Tom's weather over Southern California now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
Are you getting thunderstorms, Tom?
Oh yeah, lots of them. In fact, I'm watching the thunders build right now, and we'll just have to keep our eye on it, because if it looks like it's going to do a lot more lightning like yesterday, I'm going to have to turn my well off.
No kidding. Why does it go for the well?
I've lost a well controller 4 times out there, Pat, with lightning strikes. So, you know,
Holy cow.
I shut it down and I open the main breakers to it and stuff and everything, anything to try to protect it. So
Gee whiz.
they're not cheap and they're not too hard to replace, but you know, they're just that's a pain.
Yeah, yeah. Hmm, cool. Calais, you've been traveling, haven't you?
About to be. No, I'm not gone
Oh.
yet. I'm gonna be gone next week.
Where are you headed?
Green Bank. I'm super excited.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
That'll be an interesting trip.
Yeah.
Dan, the person running the workshop, says that it has several elements in common with brainwashing, isolation because of no Wi-Fi. So isolation, and loud music, fluorescent lights, and sleep deprivation. So hopefully I'll come back. Hopefully I'll come back without having joined a cult.
How long is this workshop?
A week.
A week. Oh, geez.
Yeah.
That'll be great.
Yeah. I'm really excited. So I'll miss next week and the week after, but I'll be back after that.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Well, I don't know. Dave's not here. He's probably having lunch, and I don't know. They know where Russ is. I don't. No. Okay. Well, we are. Some of you not been in the loop, but we're trying to start a long set of projects possibly out of BARO, and so we're I think we're, knock on wood, we're really close to be able to run it routinely, and we'll be able to run it. We're planning on just devoting it to the speckle project for at least the next few months, and so we'll find out what we're capable of doing. We've had a we had a test set that I set up, and Scott's run more than I have, and it's coming back with very strange results. So it's not a good way to validate what's going on, because these are not known binaries, they're just doubles, and the position angles are coming back consistently, considerably different than one would expect.
But different than the Gaia measurements in DR2. Yeah, they aren't consistently different. They're just randomly different. And you know, we have 5 observations, and each one has a strange position angle associated with it, and we're mystified at the moment.
Yeah, it's have no idea what's going on. So it's going to be very interesting what happens now.
But with Paul's data set, we will have plots, orbits for them, so we should know quite clearly whether we got it right or wrong.
Right. Yeah, Calais, it could be that it could be an invisible companion, I suppose, but we're talking about 100 and some degree movement in 3 years or 4 years.
Sometimes STB has pretty peculiar position angle output.
Does
You got to really be careful of,
Really?
you know, I've found that it almost always requires some kind of correction.
Really?
Unless you give it directly, you give it a plate solve solution. Then the plate solve and the STB seem to be on the same wavelength.
Okay. So,
but even then, you know, at Mount Wilson, we had to take the negative of whatever it was and subtract it from 360 and all that kind of manipulations.
right.
You know, with the 22-inch, I had to do tricks too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But they were
And that
consistent
was-
tricks. They were consistent tricks.
Yeah, consistent
Yeah.
tricks. But
Is it mostly just subtracting 180 or adding 180 to the base?
usually, yeah, but yeah,
that we thought of that, and I, at least in my head, I did it, and it didn't really solve the problem. We still end up with phases that we don't understand, or phase angles that we don't understand. So I don't know. I think the best thing is to do it on a set of targets that has orbits, and then
Yeah.
we'll have better insight, I think.
Yeah. So we,
He explained it like a few weeks ago, and I wrote it down. I'm looking for notes about that, but he said that the on-sky angle from STB is mirrored through 0 degrees.
It's
So he said mirrored through
Oh.
0 degrees is what I wrote down. And then, but he also wrote down that if the angle is negative, it defaults to positive. So a sign flip might be necessary before or after the subtraction. So there's like, right. So
That was for Mount Wilson, right?
right.
There's a third mirror and that scrambles it again. So it's
goodness.
different on BARO, I think.
Oh, okay, I see. So it's the number of mirrors. That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's part of it, at least.
Yeah, part of it. Yeah. Well, I guess we'll learn more. What's happening with, is Chile going to be back online in a couple weeks? Do we know?
I'll look at the weather. Last time it was up, we just got completely stormed out. So hopefully this coming time we'll actually have good weather.
Yeah, because that would be what starting. Full moon is, when is it? Oh, the 11th. Okay. So it's not
Anybody
that-
know what the dates are for the Chile telescopes?
I don't know.
Sometimes it's a few days before full moon, right?
Yeah,
And
exactly. So
a few
it's
days after.
it's almost time to start throwing stuff into the, what should we be putting stuff into the target list now? Is Leon there? Maybe. I don't think he's there. Nick, do you have any idea on whether we should target now?
I don't think the target list or the I don't think anyone has put any dates into the target list directory.
Okay.
I thought Leon was joining.
Okay.
But Leon was busy with school, so.
Leon stepped away, I think.
Pat, do you have dates
He
for
said he'll
the
be back in 5-10
September?
minutes.
What's that?
Leon says he'll be back in 5-10 minutes.
Okay.
Pat, do you have dates for the next Mount Wilson run, September?
No, Tom sent out an email that said October 8th, Saturday, October 8th. And Russ replied that that's okay, except he wouldn't be able to make it. He'd be flying, and I can't make it either. And he had suggested maybe sometime so after that. And I don't know what we've not heard since that. That was a couple days ago. Unless somebody else has heard something in the last day, I don't think so. It was a Saturday. I thought we were talking about having to do it during the week. Certainly Saturday is more convenient for students. Calais, did you have any input into it? Do you know?
I'm very unlikely to be able to make it anytime during the school year. I'm kind of a spring break in March potentially, and June are my times when I can do it. I mean, it might be something where just I could run down for the weekend, but having a student event involves a ton of, well, a ton of like setup and information sheets and coordinating food. And like not gonna happen during the beginning of the school year. Maybe spring break. I was talking to John Briggs, and he's very interested in doing some spring break kind of something. I would probably only be able to be there for like one of the nights because I'm going to go to Florida and see my parents again. But but like, so spring break in June would be awesome for me, and maybe an engineering run, like with,
Mhm.
it's just, if students get involved, then like the school has to be involved, and there are forms and too much overhead for any time that is in the like few months from now future.
Yeah.
Is John Briggs interested in coming, Color?
What?
Is John Briggs interested in coming?
He is very much.
He doesn't live
He
too
wants
far
to
from
have
me.
like multiple multi-week things, which so
There's-
I invited him to the next Instar meeting this coming Monday, and he wants to come. So I'm hoping he'll I mean, he has had the experience of doing the summer science program as having that be one of his formative experiences, and I think he wants to try and replicate something along those lines.
He doesn't live too far from me. He lives over in Magdalena.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
he's got a beautiful facility called the Lyceum, where he's got historical telescopes of all kinds you can imagine. And he's got a great library, all kinds of things. So yeah, that'd be cool to see him again. I haven't seen him probably in about a year.
Well, he said he's gonna try and make it to the Instar meeting Monday at 5. So if anyone's around for that and wants to come, I'll make sure everybody here gets that email, and
Yeah.
we can talk.
Yeah, I'll try to
about
go. Yeah.
plans. But yeah, so for fall, I guess the backstory is that there's some time that we didn't use in
Yeah, that's what I understand.
Yeah, they gave us 2 nights back, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the whole deal is, but so Russ was making plans with Tom, but I don't know what kind of like I don't know exactly what the plan would be for that or when.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd heard the same, but I don't know anything more than that. Other than I know that we can get a few people there. But some that weren't able to make it last time. And others. And
I'll try
also
to set up-
John Drew is trying to set up one himself, just independent for this for the special students he's dealing with. He's going to try to do one this fall.
I should be able to have a gigabit network set up for us in a LAN with some wireless stuff too while we're there.
That would be fabulous.
Yeah, we'll put an online NAS network attached storage, so you guys can just get to the data anytime you want from anywhere.
I can leave my old used envelopes behind and
keep them in standby. You never know.
That's pretty funny. But for those of you who weren't there, we were commanding all this equipment with passing notes of paper or little scraps of paper, torn off those things.
We'll see if we can get at least to the 20th century here now.
Yeah, exactly. So Rick, you're not getting to use the 22 these days, or you are?
Well, I'm not using it more by choice than
Yeah,
than
yeah,
unavailability.
yeah. I'm amazed how many nights you can get use of it. There's a lot of people in your club that don't use it, I guess.
Almost nobody uses it.
Really?
Yeah, it's generally used one night a month on their Star Party night.
Wow. Wow.
A few times, maybe during the week, if there are people that want to show it off and have visitors. That's about. If you look at the log, there's not very many entries.
Wow. Okay.
Hey, Leon's back.
Oh, good. Leon,
Hello.
we've been talking about you.
Oh,
Feeling
hi.
better?
What's up? Oh yeah. As taste is still pretty much gone, but better.
What did you get COVID?
Yeah, COVID.
Oh, really? Oh, geez.
I have 3 vaccinations, but it was still pretty rough. Like bad
Yeah.
fever and bed all day. Yeah.
Oh, that's too bad. Jeez.
How many days did it last?
1 week, for a bit less, maybe 6 days.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Worse in the middle, of course.
And and you had a fever and were pretty sick.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Did
It
you
was in
take
the
the
middle of the exams?
Oh yeah, exams. I wrote an exam this week. That was very stressful now. First with COVID and then hastily learning for that. But it was an easier one, tough one next week.
Leon, did you take the Pfizer pills at all?
No.
No.
Well, I've read about them in U.S. news. I've never heard about them in Europe actually.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
I
they
have
seem to
them.
be pretty effective.
Did you have the BA5 or do you know which variant you had?
Oh no. I took one of those fast tests and then stayed home, and it was very obvious it was a positive result and not a false positive. Yeah.
Well, okay.
Yeah, a lot of people that have had all of the vaccines, the BA5 is just not very susceptible to the vaccines. This thing could just be, it's just becoming endemic, some variation of it. If we're really lucky, we're going to get a variant that becomes endemic that has just minimal type of symptoms before we wind up having a variant that kills off even more than the last few that we've had. So,
Yeah, I was hoping that it would be milder with the Omicron variant being milder than previous ones, but especially before exams start now was pretty tough.
well, you're young.
Yeah.
At least you have peace of mind for like a little while. Anyway, I was sort of kind of almost wishing I could get it like last week so that I could go on my trip without worrying so much. But now I'm really kind of scared of the travel a little bit. I was like, does anybody have something I could lick? But now it's close enough that like I don't want it right before I go.
Yeah.
I'm avoiding monkeys at the moment. So because we have
Say
this
again,
monkey
I missed that.
thing coming out.
What'd you say, Anthony? I missed it.
I was just saying I would avoid trying to lick any monkeys because of the monkeypox.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah, that. Oh gosh.
No kidding. Poor monkeys. They
Leon, do you know what the observing dates for the Chile telescopes are going to be for August?
Yeah, we now have on both telescopes, we have the week around the full moon. So still in the middle of the month, moving back a bit. It's unfortunately less time than we previously had, maybe because we had the 24-inch for more days. So should be the 13th, something to 20th.
the full moon is on the 11th.
On the 11th already. Okay, then we have it much earlier. I thought it was moving in the other direction.
No, it gets shorter. Not,
Oh.
shorter than a month. So yeah, I mean, if it's a week, we could be starting on the 7th or 8th. That's only it's a week away, really.
Yeah, 3 days on both sides.
3 days on both sides, so it'll be the 8th.
Yeah, then the 8th.
8th through the 13th.
14th.
14th. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be 1 week. So we could go ahead and start putting target lists in.
Yeah, I'll make a folder. Yeah.
What's that? You'll make.
I'll make a folder.
Oh yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got these ones that we're going to be running on BARO, and I'd like to run the ones that we can run the same ones on the 1 meter and the 24.
Yeah, you should be able to just put the exact same list in there and it will choose with whichever are observable. Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. All right.
Yeah, the others will be rejected because they fall outside
Okay.
the parameter.
All right. So that makes it easy. Okay. Yeah, we should do that. There's no reason we shouldn't. Before the RAs are too, before they move out of the sky. Okay. that's probably what we ought to do. And gather what we can now. Anyway, with that, are there other topics for today? Are we,
I was wondering whether the updated plugin for photometry was going to be available for the August run in Chile.
Yeah, about that. It's getting ridiculously late now. I wanted to meet with Nick about getting it done last weekend, exactly when I had COVID.
Yeah.
So now I have to, now there's an exam, and now in early August, I'm going to try to rush through it.
Well, if it doesn't happen, no big deal.
Yeah, it's still a nice thing to have.
Yeah, that's for the calculation, exposure calculation. So, but the other one, for the photometry, we could do that. So if you have a list, target list available, Rick, then we should be able to do to load that.
Yeah, I've been working on a target list. It took a lot longer than I expected because I tried to account for different colored stars, because that's part of the process. Is there's some really blue ones and some really red ones, and they probably need different exposure times or number of frames. I kind of settled on using 1-second integrations for the photometry to try to maximize the signal to noise, and then using a different number of frames in order to get the signal to noise for the fainter stars. So that was an easier process to figure out rather than exposure time itself. And it seems like to get, I had a goal of getting a signal to noise for each individual star of about 200, so that there'd be at least hopefully better than 1% accuracy on the magnitudes. And in order to get 200 signal to noise, that, you know, theoretically that'd give you 0.5% uncertainty, but I'm sure there's other gremlins in the woodwork that can add to that. So I ended up, all of them seemed to take about 10 exposures in order to reach that, which was really surprising to me. Even the bright stars needed about 10 exposures. And we were going back and forth with Dave a little bit. The reason is that the scintillation becomes the dominant uncertainty, and it increases as the brightness increases. So it actually drives the signal to noise to a sort of a limit. And you can't do much better than that without making longer exposures, which are probably going to saturate for bright stars, or no more more samples, basically more frames, to get the benefit of the square root of the number of frames. So it's kind of it's not intuitive to me why bright stars shouldn't have better signal to noise, but they seem not to. So anyway, I expanded Dave's signal to noise spreadsheet that he passed around. He had it for A0 stars, basically Vega, a 0 magnitude A0 star was his spectrum for starting out. And I had expanded that to the Sloan filters beyond just the R filter some months back. And now I've expanded it to K stars and M stars, I hope. There's a question about whether that's done right or not, but the only way to try it that I can think of is to actually observe something and see if the signal noise is still good. But
Could you
it's kind of a complicated subject.
Could you send that modified version, or have you already in emails?
No, I haven't. I can send it around.
Yeah, I would
basically
add
I created a separate spreadsheet for each of the 3 spectral types that I looked at, because there's a lot, each one has 4 filters in it. So it got to be, I didn't want to have a sheet with 12 different sheets in it, workbook. So So I kept them separate. In
Yeah,
some ways,
I
that's
need
easier
the,
to handle. Some ways it's
the-
difficult.
The values in the beginning for the star type below the column A0.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, I need the values for the stars. So below A0, the values you change there for that for the K
Yeah.
types.
Yeah, okay. I looked at, there's a catalog of spectral types and spectral information online from Pickles and et al., which has a whole, well, just basically every spectral type and has a normalized uniform set of observations, and the flux for, at every 5 angstroms or something, really finely sliced.
Wow.
And so I use that. But the question is how to scale that to get up to 0 magnitude, because none of those stars are 0 magnitude except Vega itself, which is A0, and it's sort of the definition of the magnitude scale. All the magnitudes and all the colors are 0, or color indices rather.
Mhm.
So all the magnitudes, no matter what field, are defined to be 0 for Vega. That's how everything else starts.
Rick,
But
I
of
had a
course-
24-inch telescope that did the study of that from Lowell Observatory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was and I think it's been done a few times, and there's various versions of it, but they're all pretty close to each other, of course.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough of that subject. I'll send a copy around. Hopefully
Tom,
it's,
the study yeah, that'd be interesting. See, Tom, the study you did was of various spectral types, or?
No, it wasn't my study. It was done at Lowell Observatory with the 24-inch that I had here, big 7,000-pound telescope. But Wes Lockwood was the person who did the study, the first study, and he's the one that put all that data together to define Vega as 0 magnitude on all color bands at that point.
Okay.
yeah. The data that I think that Dave used in the spreadsheet was from Hayes and Latham. They did it at Mount Hopkins again, and they did a really careful, detailed study of extinction and transformation, and got slightly different answers. And I think it had been done at Mount Wilson in the early days, and probably by several other people, because it was sort of the basis upon which all the magnitudes are founded. So it was important to get it right.
Yeah.
In the early days, it was difficult to detect light that was very red. So it kind of evolved as better detectors came along. We have the advantage of these great little cheap chips that can see all the way out to 1 micron.
Was that study done on film?
Yes, to start with. I think they moved a lot of the data over then to regular data storage, digital files and stuff after that. But yeah, the main study was all done that way in and they used, of course, spectrographs.
You mean, Pat, you meant the detector type or the storage of the data?
I meant the storage of the data. Well, the original shots were not done with a digital camera. They were done.
No, right. They were
Right.
probably done with a photometer, probably a
Okay.
1P21
1P21, exactly.
tube. Originally, that was the first way to measure light directly.
And all it was just a data dump, just a bunch of data from the comp and the target star and your check star. So
Right. Okay. And people are still doing that.
Well,
I
up
guess
through
so.
up through the 50s at least.
Yeah.
Well, up until CCDs came in. That's and maybe even in the 60s or 70s.
A group in the AVSO that continues to do that.
Yeah.
I think
To do Vega studies?
No, not Vega. Just saying that
No.
that type of photometry.
Regular
Yeah,
photometers.
Yeah.
aperture photometry with one hole, one star at a time.
Yeah.
Oh, I did that.
Yeah. I've
I
got the
built
manual
a-
for the 1P21 here if you need it.
Yeah, I built a 1P21 photometer once upon a time, and it worked pretty good.
Jerry Pruscia, who started
Lot of
Optic,
work.
I see him on Wednesdays. He comes to our breakfast, and he's right now got Jim Fox's. I think you know, Rick, I think you know Jim Fox. He's got his original SPS3, and somebody picked up Jeff Hopkins' SPS4, but I'm not sure where it went to.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
I built one of Jeff Hopkins' 1P21 photometers.
Mhm.
And then later one of Jerry Prussia's pin diode photometers.
Yeah.
Boy, that thing was sensitive to infrared, man. I used it to observe Mira stars, and you couldn't even see them in V. They were just invisible. And
Cool.
in infrared, man, they're just a booming signal. It was amazing.
That was a day or two ago.
Yeah, the 80s or the 90s. Back when I was young. Anyway,
that's interesting. That's interesting. Well, unless there's other topics, we can. We were going to do a meeting on the BARO targeting following this meeting, and we could go ahead and get into that if we want, or unless there's something else. Anybody's welcome to hang in here with us. At least Scott and I are here. Anthony, are you involved with that too?
No, I'm right now. I'm just basically just an observer.
Observer of observers. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Okay.
I've only been into the actual observing part with the Exoplanet Watch, and that's how I know Clay and Leon.
Okay.
So I'm still on this steep part of the learning curve. I had been an amateur for years and years, and recently, mainly as visual.
Uh-huh.
I got suckered into some Zwell equipment by a good friend that had been pushing me for several years. And December, January, I jumped in with both feet. And it's a little different than, using gas hypered film with that Olympus OM1 that I had back in the 80s.
Yeah.
But it's fun, and I appreciate it. I appreciate
Oh,
you guys
good.
letting me sit in, and I would like to eventually get to a point where I might be able to contribute something.
Well, we welcome to. That would be great. Yeah, and keep coming. We're just we're learning, something every week. Just about. Here, Rick's telling us about these diode photometers. You never know what's going. Never know what I'm going to learn.
I know what a diode is. I'm from that era.
Yeah, right. Okay, well, I guess.
and I'm interested in I'm interested in kind of your work on there on the known binaries. Is that
Yes, I would love for you.
what you're talking about?
Yeah,
I haven't been able to join any of the meetings, but I'm kind of interested especially if I can help with some data reduction or something.
that would be wonderful. We were talking about whether you would be interested in picking out some and try to do some photometry with them as well.
Yeah, sure. As long as I'm not overwhelmed with Chile data.
Yeah, right. Do you have the target list?
No.
Oh, okay. Why don't we'll share it with you. And is anybody else that wants to, we'll share the target list. There's what, 41 targets, I think, Scott? That sounds right.
In Paul's list,
Yeah.
I think he only had 5 targets, didn't he?
Well, for starters, but he had a total of 41 for the big one.
In the big list, yeah. Okay.
There you go. The official photo.
I I'm gonna jump off, but
Yep,
great
I
to
understand,
see
Kelly.
all of you. I'll miss the next two, but I'll be back after that. And very excited to hear about what goes down. Bye, everyone.
We'll be excited to hear about what you got to say
Bye.
too, Kai.
Yeah,
I
I
also have
might
to
be
head
back
out.
part of a cult, yeah. See you later.
Have fun.
I also
that's
have to
it.
head out, but
Yeah.
I'd love to be circled in on, at least on the emails about the BARO project. I'd love to help out.
Okay, okay, we'll
Bye.
put you on the distribution for the emails too. Good.
Perfect.
Okay.
See ya.
See you. Yeah, we're there's really not much yet to talk about on it. We're just starting with the list. I can pull it up here and show you what it looks like, and then we can share it. I think I can. Give me a second here. I'll get it. Where am I? Okay. At any rate.
If I remember, Russ and Paul were interested in short period known binaries, so that,
Yes.
yeah, they're more interesting because they actually move.
Yeah, these are, well, they're, I think, down to 0.4 arc seconds.
But maybe periods less than a couple hundred years, so you can actually see some movement once in a while.
Yeah, I can't honestly tell you what the period is on these, because I don't think it didn't start from Dave's list or his GDS 1.03.
Yeah, didn't they go back through the 6th orbit catalog and kind of start from scratch there?
Yeah. Why do I not see it here?
I
don't
can,
Scott, do you have the full list? I don't know what I did.
yeah, I have it. Let me just see. I have it on my screen. I can show it, but it's right now it's just a preview in my something's going on here that I don't understand with the let me just preview it again, and I'll share, if you let me share the screen.
Yeah, I think you can.
Yeah. I don't know what it's doing. It doesn't let me control the preview, and I don't understand what the deal is here. Okay, that's better. Yeah, so let me share my screen.
I guess I don't, all I have is the 5-star list. Why do I not see it? Okay, go. Yeah, you should be able to share.
You see it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's, right, if we scroll down, there's 43 targets, and the really neat thing here is that we've got a plot for each one of them. And so we have some reason to believe that, whoops. We have some reason to believe that we know what the truth is here. So, so the answers that we get, we can compare to the orbits and see how accurate things are. So this list, is this one we were going to run tonight?
No,
Pat, or the shorter one?
We have the short list to run tonight.
Yeah, because this one isn't quite set up yet for the plugin. We need to add the proper columns to this to run it in the plugin. But we do have a shorter list with, I think, 5 targets.
Right.
That is set up, we believe, to run on BARO tonight. And we'll see how that goes. Now that we can find the camera.
Yeah, now we've got the camera working again.
I should be able to join you if you like. I don't know, around 11.
Oh, yeah, no, that's interesting. I don't, right, so we'll be trying to set it up probably about 8:30. We'll open the scope, or I guess I will open the scope
Yeah,
at 7:30 to cool it off. And then at 8:30, which would be what time you're on your time zone, Nick?
That's pretty early.
yeah, it's pretty early.
Like,
Oh,
It's like 4:30 or something,
Yeah, 4:30 or 5:30.
5:30.
yeah, 5:30. I'm usually asleep around then.
yeah. Well,
Let me share the screen for this target list and we'll critique it for a moment here.
let me unshare.
Yeah,
mine.
unshare yours and
I could join you when I wake up. Could be
okay.
a little
Yeah,
earlier.
there's the issue of what Zoom would be on. I don't run Pat Zoom. I have
You
my
can
own
use,
Zoom.
you can
but it's
use,
a-
you can use our Zoom.
Okay,
Yeah, or just send me an
Yeah.
email with the Zoom.
This, I didn't share it the way I wanted to. Let's see if I can do that again. Okay. Okay, so that's the list of the 5 with each one going through 5 different exposures to assess the we don't have a good exposure calculator for BARO at this point. The one thing, Scott, you need to double check is, and this is a good question that Nick's on here, the filter name should be the one that how it's registered in whatever Nina has for that filter name, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and this will probably be wrong because it's not, I'm pretty sure it's Sloan R2 and I don't know if there's a space in there or not.
that's interesting because the cases we ran before just had Sloan R, the earlier case.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
It does default to a certain filter
It does.
when you set up, but it depends. Last time on the 1K, it defaulted to the luminance filter, which what.
Is it based on the default to a filter position?
No, you can actually set up the template to have a default filter.
Okay. Okay.
And then if it can't find what's given here, then it'll default to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we can also change the
Yeah.
name in the
Right.
target file to be
Or
to
change it
correspond
to, if you like. Yeah, you can change it in the file or change it in Nina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the separations. Here's the type of separations we're talking about. So we're down to a half an arc second on the last one there. Which the ones that the one set that Scott ran of my list, you had some measured down to 0.4 arc seconds, which on one cycle, which I was a little surprising, but it was at least down. It looks like we might be able to handle half an arc second. I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah, I think in running STB, running it through STB, it was kind of marginal. You could there was a bit of overlap between the two stars, but it was enough that you could get a reading.
Okay.
And
Okay.
maybe the accuracy goes down as you get closer and closer, but you could get an answer.
Yeah. Yeah, those will be very interesting because anyway, this is the target list for that we're working on now to characterize, see what our boundaries are for the moment and to get an exposure in there. The differential magnitudes on these are minimal. So the delta there you can see the magnitudes are, like a half a magnitude difference. So that's more. That'll be trickier. that last one.
That may create some ambiguity as to
Yeah.
which is the primary and which is the secondary.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, you definitely could, because some of these are really quite close. All right. And then there's,
Pat, do you know whether the RA 0 and the declination 0 columns I and J those are the ones that the telescope will pick up, right? Nina uses those as the coordinates to go to. Are
right.
those they look like they're accurate, but are they the target position from over in column B, or are they the accurate coordinates from column AA?
Good question. That's a question for Paul, I think.
Oh,
Yeah, I
I guess
don't
that
know.
would be
It looks-
Paul generated the list.
Yeah, Rick, it doesn't look like they're coming out of column B because of the fact they've got so many more decimals. They're probably the accurate ones.
Yeah, well, I see that they're accurate to the number of decimals, but I just wonder if they started from column B or column AA to make sure, because they've got to be from column AA, because otherwise,
yeah.
right?
They have to be
Otherwise,
from there. Yeah,
column B can be off in RA by quite a bit.
right. I don't see him, I don't think he would make that kind of mistake.
Be easy to spot check a couple of points.
Yeah.
And make sure.
Right.
But I mean, the telescope's going to operate with a plate solve and center on the coordinates, and then put the ROI there, right? So if even if it's a bright star nearby, it won't hit it. Maybe.
Here's the squirrely things about BARO, as we've said before, very small field of view for that in the Barlow, and so you can't pull you can't just expect to get a plate solve. And so
it's no smaller than the 24-inch in Chile or the 1 meter.
you sure?
It's a 1600, so the camera is smaller.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, it's a 6x8 arc minute field of view. And so
it's not going to do plate solving at all then?
well, that's we have to modify the scripting to for full automation, we need to plate solve in the so actually I should ask, maybe you guys can tell me something there, I'll point in a second, but we'll need to plate solve at a cluster. We're using M29, works out okay recently, and then hope that it's going to stay, it's going to continue to stay pointing correctly, and it generally it has in the past, but I think we'll need to go back and plate solve more than once during the night at some other target and come back just to confirm that we're not, something's not going wrong. I've got, I'll show you what, because they're, here is, I'll pull up, I didn't prepare these for this, but I should have.
Because you guys
may have an answer to what.
You can't get a plate solve on a 6x8 minute field?
Not be able to, we can if we pointed at a cluster, but if we just take any random piece of sky, there are not enough stars in it to, we don't see enough stars.
Do you go deep enough you can actually pull them out? Because if you go deeper on your image, you might be able to plate solve then.
No, we can,
the Nina current version uses the Gaia catalog now, right? With the new plate solve version.
Yeah.
And it can go to what, 18th or 19th or something. So there's a lot more stars than it used to be.
Yeah.
Right, but I don't think it's more than the PS 3.8. Same catalog. Magnitude 18.
Yeah.
Well,
so you've
okay.
tried it with that Gaia catalog and it still doesn't work?
No, we haven't. No.
Oh, okay. I think it might work now. because you can go a lot deeper. The old catalog was 14th magnitude, right? Now it's 18th with Gaia.
But we don't have that catalog connected into Nina. Or how do we?
Oh, I thought it was there.
Yeah, I thought we had done that last time we set it up, or maybe you've changed it again, but I don't know.
Boy, you're saying on BARO, it was set up on BARO that way?
I think we did.
Huh, let me pull up BARO and we'll see if we've got what we got here. I was going to show you guys, the other night I pointed at 4 different parts of the sky to see how well we plate solved with the larger camera, and to see how it lines up, how consistent it is when you look through the ZWO. And it's not. Depending on what part of the sky you're in, the location of the target will be different within the ZWO frame. And
but does it stay within a 1024 subframe, Pat?
maybe. It's I can pull it up and show you what it is. But let me pull up. Okay. Okay, don't want to do that. Barrel. The reason I don't think we have is it should be 3.8 that should be here.
Yeah.
How would I know? I'll let you navigate if you want.
Yeah, it's in options, or it should be.
Go to the
Options,
plate solving. Plate solving, just the
bottom one.
Yeah.
Right, so you can set it to plate solve 3 here, if you have it on there.
I don't have 3.8. I've got 3.78 on there.
Right, yeah, you need 3.8.
Okay.
And then download it.
So where do you? Is this where you put in that API key? Or what?
Yeah, that's for astrometry.net. If you click on plate solve 3. Below that plate solver settings. Yeah, yes. So you select it there, and if you go to the plate solver settings and select plate solve 3.
Oh,
there.
okay.
3.
Okay, that's where you. Okay, there's where you put the location.
This is 2.
That's 2.
That's 2, but yeah.
So if you select 3, then there you should set the location to the 3.80 there.
Okay. Okay.
Now, but now plate solve 3.8 needs the catalogs. So we don't, number one, we don't have 3.8, I don't believe, do we, Pat?
I don't have it on there right now, but it's easy enough because I got the it was hard to get the catalogs downloaded to it, but I got them there. So it's easy enough to configure 3.8 since the catalogs are there. I can just copy in the rest of the stuff and set it up.
But do you have the Gaia catalog?
Yeah, that's in there. That's in the download. So you have that.
Okay, so if we get 3.8, we'll get the catalog.
Well, it's the same catalog as in 3.78. They're the same. It's just the software is slightly different to plug into Nina.
Okay.
So if I go to here, what I've got Dave Rowe software, and there's 3.78. And so I've got Kepler and I've got the UD catalog.
Yeah, so, but you don't have Gaia.
No, isn't that, those are the two catalogs, correct?
That's in the Kepler
Yeah.
directory.
Oh, there's another one. Okay.
No, it's in the Kepler directory, I think, or the other one is.
So the Kepler directory has the Gaia catalog?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, let's see, it doesn't look, there's mag 14. Well, it's easy enough to go over here and compare it to what's in the download folder. It's got Kepler and the UD catalog. And Kepler is 3.85 gigabytes. And I'll bet the other one's the same.
The Gaia DR2 catalog points to the UD catalog.
Oh, so it's in the UD catalog.
Yes.
Oh. Yeah, it's the same size file for Kepler. And then UD is 1.31 gigabytes. And over here.
Yeah, that's the same.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 1.31. Yeah, they're the same. Those are, Dave said that before. The catalogs haven't changed for a while. So it's just a matter of, I'll just get this set up and put it in there and do that update.
Well, if the catalogs are the same between 3.78 and 3.8, what's the advantage of using 3.8?
It communicate. He's got it built in. There's some features that Nick has built in to make it communicate with Nina.
So we can't run in 3.78 in
Nina. No.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's this 3.8 is unique for Nina. All the way.
Okay.
It'll work.
Got it. But we don't. But the catalog is. We got the catalog, so that's
right.
That part's okay.
Right. So I can go ahead and I'll go ahead and do that when we're off the phone here. I'll set that up, Scott, so that you can give it a try tonight.
Okay.
I may be available. I don't know. Today's my birthday, and so Grady's taking me.
Well, you ought
Grady's
to get the
taking
day
me
off,
out
Pat.
taking me out to dinner, and so I don't know if he's still on here. Yeah, he's the culprit. So
Happy birthday, Pat.
Yeah, thank
Yes,
you.
I'm still on here, and happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, it's it's starting to get to those 3 digits. You got to be careful. Got
You look
to
pretty good for 50.
got to avoid these days.
In my
Yeah.
car, my driveway.
What's that? No. Okay, so I'm glad we chatted here. Now let me show you this pointing issue. Maybe it'll be solved if we can get the plate solved to work. Let me ask, with the 17, with the 1600, when you say go deep, what kind of exposure do you think we should run? 60 seconds to get deep enough, or what would you think, Rick? To get to enough stars in the field to plate solve.
Don't the Chile telescopes use about 40 seconds?
Yeah, 40
for
should be
filter?
enough. 40 to be safe and get a consistent solve.
Okay.
And you're
What's
always using the luminance filter, right?
Okay. 40 and the luminance filter. Okay, but this is a smaller scope, so that's why I was thinking maybe go to 60.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I guess we can test it a few times and see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. If not, let me show you what. Let's see if I can pull that up. I think. Shoot, it's going to take me a minute to find this. Sorry, I forgot now where I put it. Yeah, okay. All right, I'll see if okay. All right, so here's the set of files that maybe if I go to what the heck is the why can't I get them? I want to get the larger icons, but I guess I'm giving me that option.
Isn't it in the layout, but it's really small or so?
Huh. I don't see anything.
Yeah, you need to increase the size of that layout part.
Is there?
If you go on the line in between the two next to layout, there's two lines or vertical lines.
Oh,
next to the
this?
No, I mean the line in between the two parts of the layout, yeah, and the sort by the current view.
I'm not sure.
But isn't it? Oh, you can't actually increase the size. Weird.
Well, let me open it up here. So here's we're pointing, doing the pointing model with the FLI camera, a larger field of view, and then and this is what it looks like through the ZWO, and the FLI looks like that. So they're pretty consistent, and you could probably use even a 256 by 256. Vega was almost straight overhead for that. But now if I go to, here's the worst case, I think. Yeah, then pointing north, pointing south, I had reasonable consistency, but here we go, the Mizar, and that's the, I don't know why we got movement in here too. That's the ZWO. I'm sorry, that's the FOI, and here's the ZWO. Look at that. So a huge difference here in what they look like.
Yeah, the other factor here, Pat, is the clock or the time. And I'm wondering, when did you do these? How many days ago?
Oh, this was on the 25th.
Okay, so now we're up to the 29th?
Yeah, 29th, yeah.
And so that means there was hardly any moon as well, right? Because that makes an enormous difference for plate solving and have the exposure time depending on moon phase.
Right, but I'm concerned, Pat, whether we have, as I think Grady pointed out, could be a clock problem. With if there's clock drift, then over a few days, what we saw on the 25th is going to be, or what we see tonight may be considerably different than what we saw on the 25th.
It could be, but I have net time running on it, and it's the clock time is good.
The clock time should be good. Okay.
Yeah.
And so when I run tonight, I will certainly check this and make sure that we have targets that we can subframe the targets.
Right. I mean, I never found any place that it was completely out of the picture, but this is pretty darn close.
Yeah.
And
Right.
a 1024 by 1024, I don't think would have caught it.
Yeah. Well, the fact that it's off to the edge, I don't think the subframing will let you put the subframe that far off.
Right.
But the clock doesn't have to be that accurate. A second should be good enough, and Windows manages that.
Yeah, well, we have it turns out that makes a considerable difference. If you start having a drift on your clock, it doesn't take much to screw up your pointing. But that's
if it keeps if it keeps drifting, you mean?
Yeah. Well, yeah. If you don't have it calibrated to the internet or someplace else, GPS.
Is it possible that there's a different pointing model might be needed for the speckle camera, just because it's mechanically different beyond the rotator?
It's a different weight also.
Yeah, it's they're just not quite aligned the same.
Yeah.
It's a
I just
mechanical.
wonder if you need two separate pointing models, one for the FLI and one for the.
Yeah, I don't think there's any flexure between the two cameras. They're pretty stiff, aren't they, Pat?
They're stiff. It's just that they're not quite, their line of sight isn't quite the same. They're slightly, just doesn't take much to offset them.
It would be a hassle to have two different pointing models, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would.
Well, if the pointing model were for the speckle, then it should be good for the wider field for sure.
Yeah, it's just that because we've not been able to get enough stars in the field to use it to develop a pointing model using the ZWO. Now, if 3.8 gives us the stars, oh yeah, then I would definitely use the ZWO to do the pointing model.
It shouldn't be a lot of effort. Oh, sorry, Tom.
I said that image looks like it's a little bit out of focus too.
I hadn't bothered with focus just to get the pointing here. I was just trying to.
Well, it can affect how many stars you actually pull out too.
Yeah. It definitely has to be focused well to get the stars, I'm sure. Yeah. Then you have places if you're looking south. This is rough. You start seeing, here's southeast. This was the FLI southeast, and here is ZWO.
Just looking at the thumbnails, you can see that the stars are in different places every image.
There it is in the ZWO. So that one is reasonably consistent. So I'm not sure I can understand the geometry that would cause that to be, roughly consistent this direction and inconsistent going north. Better minds than I can figure that out. I don't know how to judge that. Southwest didn't look that good. Let's see. Yeah, southwest. This one would press that field of view because there's the pointing model says this is where it should be, and nope, that's not it. Pull it back up. Yeah, here's where it ended up on the ZWO. So it may be a problem.
Can you stretch that a little bit, Pat? So you can actually go deeper. I mean, the image, can you actually apply it?
Oh, no, it's just, these are, they're just, I didn't, they're not images, they were snips that I took.
Okay.
So I don't have a way to stretch them. Okay, so that is our, I think, our biggest challenge with BARO, is figuring this problem out. And if we go with, what's the largest ROI we can use in Nina?
You could use the full image if you like.
You got this memory.
Yeah, it's going to soak up.
Doesn't go as fast, but
Yeah. This is, yeah, that would be, I think they're 32 megabytes an image. That would add up real fast. I don't know if it can handle it. I mean, it does work, as far as the camera works well with Nina. The drivers seem to be right.
yeah.
They're pretty, it's pretty fast. I think we found that we could do 25 frames a second on it.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So there's some challenges here.
Yeah. Well, I'll try it tonight with Paul's target list, the short one.
Yeah.
And see how we can. First of all, I'll have to pick a subframe offset that will work, and if we do that, the question is, I guess, will it work for all the targets?
Yeah.
There may be some targets that are in a region where the offset is different enough that we miss it, but I have to try and see what happens.
Yeah. And
Nick, if you can join in a little bit later than, what is it, 4:30 in the morning?
yeah. 5:30, I think you said. Yeah.
Yeah, well, probably won't make that.
Yeah. But we'll, I probably be able to.
Another thing we could do is record it, and then Nick can straighten me. I mean, I think we do need to set it up as close to 8:30 or 9 o'clock as we can and let it go. Because otherwise the targets are going to move too far west, or lower altitude. And
yeah, when these the ones he picked out, they start getting into acceptable visibility around 9 o'clock. So yeah.
So I want to get it running by say 9 or close to 9.
Yeah.
And we'll see what it does, and maybe if I record it, we can see what happened.
Which is another question for you guys, Nick and Leon. This set of 5 targets span 100 degrees of the sky, so it's almost like 6 hours time. If you were just saying when they pass the meridian, but so there's going to be big spaces in time in between where it's not going to do anything. Is that going to pose a problem for the automation?
No, it's just it'll just be waiting.
Okay.
Until it gets there, kind of. Or you could like in the latest plugin, I've added some galaxy targets that you could observe, kind of just to have something to do in the time you're waiting. So it'll just you can set it up to take an image of a couple of galaxies and see if there's a nova or whatever.
So we can speckle some galaxies, huh?
Well,
no.
You would use a different template for it, but
yeah. Okay, that's interesting. That makes me think. Should we be downloading a newer version of?
Yeah, I'm just thinking if how ready it is, or
Okay.
or if there's a couple of things I should still fix. And I don't know if I'll get it ready in time. I could
Yeah,
send you
I
the
don't think we
latest
want to
version.
try it tonight. That would
Yeah,
be-
let's stick with
would be a challenge.
something that works.
Yeah, let's be sure
Yeah.
it's working. Okay. All right.
And then
All
next time we could get the latest version to test that.
Okay.
I did actually add an instruction for you. It's been there for a while, that you can center on a star cluster. So that's something we could try. But basically, slew to the target and then center on a nearby star cluster, and plate solve that, and then see if you can get it. Then slew back to the target.
Okay, so you have that
Maybe
built
that
into
work. That works.
that.
Yeah, that would, if the cluster is fairly close, that should be very
Yeah, well,
accurate, I would think.
within 5 degrees or so.
Yeah. That's
You could try it.
yeah, I think if we are still having trouble with the approach that we're trying right now, I think we should definitely try that out and see if it. Of course, the season.
Scott, one
The
thing you might
season you
try
do
is-
it.
Okay.
Go ahead, Tom.
I was gonna say, one thing you might try is take an image before you move to the cluster. Take your image of your target star, so you know where it is in the field. Go ahead, go to the the cluster and do a plate solve on that, have it resync up, and then have it come back and see what the offset difference is.
Yeah, we could do that.
There could be some good information in that.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes good sense. Yeah. That would, well, for tonight, I think we just want to run it as simply as we can to see what happens. Is that
right?
Yeah, and then see.
Yeah.
Then we
So
start.
the cluster technique for most of the year should work pretty good if you're anywhere close to the galactic plane. But there's only in the spring, when you're looking way away from any of the galaxy stars, then there aren't so many clusters to use that. But most of the time, it should work pretty well, I would think.
I don't know how many star clusters are in the database because it just gets them from Sinbad, and it says, well, here's the target, and get me a star cluster nearby, and then slew to there and plate solve that, and then slew back again.
Yeah,
We've not had much.
How many star clusters there are?
There's a lot of the open the globulars have proven to be hard to plate solve.
Yeah, the really big ones.
Yeah.
Is that because the core of it is all saturated or unresolved, I guess? Is that the reason, Nick, or why
I think that there's just not enough reference points that you can get from the cluster itself. So once you have just the globular cluster inside, then it doesn't have enough reference targets to stars to actually plate solve.
Yeah.
We had some success with globulars at the 60-inch at Mount Wilson, but there we offset away from the center and just did the outskirts of the cluster, and there were plenty of stars, and they weren't so close that they were unresolved.
Yeah.
And it worked out fine.
Yeah, that's the way it's worked for us, is not to look right at the globular.
Right.
Matt, what's the plate scale, the image scale for BARO? Is it 0.13?
No, it's 0.106.
106. Okay. I was just trying a signal to noise estimate.
That'd be interesting.
For just for it's for the original A0 star and 60 60-second integration at 18th magnitude. The signal and noise is about 10. So that sounds plenty good enough for plate solve to pick it up and think it's a star.
You said that was for an A0 star?
Yeah,
And it's 60-second exposure.
60-second exposure.
Yeah.
So that sounds doable. I think it should be able to plate solve some of those fields at least.
Yeah, you want to have the focus sharpened up too, though, when you're
Yeah.
trying to get down that
Yeah,
low.
for sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
That
Okay.
was assuming it shows that the biggest contribution is sky glow noise if the sky background is like 18th, which is kind of a moderate sky. So
That's what, I know that's typical out there, about 18.
yeah, okay. I didn't put it for a bright moon. Then it kind of clobbers it.
Yeah.
At 16th, it drops down to 4 signal and
Hmm.
noise. So it might not think those are stars anymore. I think Dave said the threshold was signal and noise of 6, where plate solve says I've got a star. I might not be remembering that right, but it's kind of what I vaguely think he said one time.
Is that a parameter that you can set in plate?
Oh, yeah,
solve?
I think it is.
I
think it
believe it
is
is.
in plate
Yeah.
solve. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can set the signal and noise threshold for
Right.
what's a star
And
and what isn't.
my recollection is it's 6, but it's set at 6. But
And the size, the number of pixels that it thinks is a star.
The star is, yeah.
So it can avoid. pixels.
that's an important question because I think all the stuff we've done so far, we've been just leaving it at 1 by 1. But we should run it at something like 2 by 2 for that, right? Or even
Yeah,
I think
maybe 3 by 3.
even 3 by 3, yeah. Because that size of pixel, it seems like that would make sense.
Pat, do you have a sky quality monitor out there on BARO?
No.
Oh, okay.
Sounds like there's lots of things to tinker with if it doesn't work at first.
Yeah, it sure does. Yeah, well, we're great for tinkering. Well, a lot to learn here. I've got to make an 11:30. The guy's arriving here at 11:30. Unless there's something else, I think I'm going to need to wrap it up.
I got to go out and turn my well off too. They're building. See you all later.
All right.
Take care.
See you.
Bye-bye.
See you
Dick,
guys.
I'll
Maybe
send
I'll
you
give
the
you a
number.
ring this afternoon, Scott, and tell you where things stand.
yeah, that'd be good.
Okay, we'll do that.
I'll be
Thanks.
around.
All right. See you.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for coming.